All right. Today's lesson, spiritual discernment applied. The Philippians were understandably distressed when they heard of Paul's imprisonment. Now his work was severely limited. He could not travel, he could not preach, he could not visit the synagogues and teach people about Jesus as the Messiah. He could no longer raise up churches. The Philippians sent Epaphroditus to ascertain the apostle's condition, to encourage him, and to ensure that his physical needs were being met. Let us read Philippians 1:12 through 18. The question is, how did Paul view his imprisonment? What lessons can we learn from his attitude despite the circumstances he found himself in? So let's read Philippians 1:12 through 18. Here we go. All right. But I would ye should understand, brethren, that the things which happened unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel, so that my bonds in Christ are So my bonds in Christ are manifest in all the palace and in all other places. And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preached Christ of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then, notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice. So, interesting. Paul's perspective of his imprisonment. Many of us wouldn't probably feel that way about being in prison. The message Paul sent back to him must have surprised the Philippians. Paul saw his circumstances through different eyes. His spiritual discernment led him to see his imprisonment as a good thing. It didn't hinder his work at all, but actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel, Philippians 1:12. Where others saw only chains and bars, Paul saw his Roman guards as potential souls in God's kingdom. He also saw his imprisonment greatly encouraged others to be more active and more determined to spread the gospel, to preach boldly for Christ without fear of the consequences. It may be hard to imagine, but some actually thought to benefit from Paul's imprisonment. Apparently they thought his obscurity would lead to more attention for themselves and their own preaching of the gospel. What a powerful but sad example of human selfishness, even in the church. As Jeremiah said long before Paul, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Jeremiah 17, verse 9. Fortunately, in contrast, some faithful workers also became more zealous to spread the gospel. They loved Paul so much that the suffering that they saw him endure for his faith led them to trust Christ more and emboldened them to be even more active for the Lord. It energized them to go where before they were afraid to go. It led them to speak in situations during which before they kept silent. It led them to it led even to more people accepting Christ and spreading the gospel of salvation. What a wonderful story. What lessons have you learned from experience that, though unquestionably bad, also brought about some benefits? Even in cases in which a benefit might not be apparent, how can we learn to trust God regardless? Is the closing thought today for the lesson. I pray that you have a blessed day and continue to put your faith in Him no matter the circumstances.